Taylor Swift left Detroit with an enchanted weekend.
Paper gets used every day, but where does it actually go? DTV premieres their final environmental story today.
And we say our final farewells to the class of 2023 tonight. DTV News starts right now.
Taylor Swift Eras Tour made it its way to Detroit Friday and Saturday night. Good afternoon, Davison.
The fans came to Ford Field bejeweled and ready to shake it off. On Friday night, Taylor played Haunted and I Almost Do as her surprise songs. The crowd went wild, having a Speak Now song since Taylor's version is coming out July 7th.
Taylor did not stop there and made Night 2 just as gorgeous. She played All You Had to Do Was Stay and Brief as her surprise songs. Taylor left the glitter on the floor after the party. Everyone looked amazing.
Tonight is the final milestone for the class of 2023, graduation. It will take place inside a Dordt Financial Center. The ceremony will start at 7 o'clock. Doors will open at 5:30. DTV will be there live streaming if you can't make it. Just look for it on our YouTube channel, DTV News. We will also have a table set up at the entrance, and we will be selling copies of the ceremony for $20. Admission is free, but you do have to pay for parking. It is $10. Make sure to be there to support your class of 2023 friends.
Exams are next week. Here's a look at your testing schedule. Your first and second hour exams will be on Tuesday. Wednesday will be third and fourth hours, and our last day of school, Thursday, will be fifth and sixth hours. Testing will begin at 7:25 each day, and we'll be getting out of school at 10:45. Be sure to study up and ace those exams.
Any upcoming seniors that are interested in being MCs to host next year's HOCO week next year, please see Miss Abanaj in room 212. She isn't here today, so if you haven't signed up and want to, be sure to see her tomorrow. She really needs people, so make sure to get out of your comfort zone and make your senior year memorable.
After 2 years of having a free lunch due to the pandemic, it may be hard to shift from having to pay for them. If you need a free or reduced lunch set, you can complete an online application for next school year beginning July 1st by going to davison.familyportal.cloud. Read to a Million Summer Challenge is here. This challenge is a lot more important than most think. Not reading over the summer can affect learning skills, so make sure to crack open a book. This goes on from June 1st until August 31st, so make sure to get started early. The achievement is coming back to school as the smartest kid in the halls. Who wouldn't want that?
Any students that haven't finished Zello, please do so. It is a graduation requirement. If you do not know your username or password, if you have any questions, please see Ms. Wells in the Career Center.
Coming up, DHS hosted a track and field meet this past weekend. We have a look at all the action. And
rain is heading our way. Caleb has a look at your 4-day forecast.
People's History of the United States by Noam Chomsky. All right, and Noam Chomsky says in his first line,
drop the vape before it's too late.
I got Jimmy Collins on the slam.
Spring sport athletes are finally done with their seasons after a long 3 months. The track team wrapped up their season with an invitational meet right here at Cardinal Stadium. The highest results are as followed. Javion Johnson got second in the 100-meter dash and third in the 200-meter. While Logan Honeycutt got fifth in the 200-meter dash, Colby Huggard got 8th in the 400-meter dash. Then Ian Forrest got 11th in the 3,200-meter run. Connor Cherney got 5th in both discus and shot put, while lastly Loosely Stevens got 6th in the long jump. Great job to all athletes that competed. Caleb, after a really short sports today, looks like we're to be getting some much needed rain. How long should I have my umbrella with me?
Well, Chayton, you will need your umbrella for a little bit of Tuesday and Thursday, but other than that, we're going to have a nice week before exam week. Anyways, let's go right into our 4-day forecast. As you can see behind me, we mainly have a pattern of partly cloudy going into some thunderstorms for both Monday going into Tuesday and Wednesday going to Thursday, with highs peaking around 74 degrees. 4 degrees around noon on Wednesday, and then slowly just kind of picking up a little bit more coming from our gloomy weekend we've had with Taylor Swift. I guess Michigan wasn't ready for her. And then as we check out our radar, last time we checked our radar, we had some air quality alerts from the fire out in Canada, but thankfully those alerts are mostly resolved throughout Michigan with Davison and the surrounding areas between 0 and 50 margarine in air quality index, which in brief terms means it's safe outside to breathe. So if you have an asthma condition or any sort of air quality thing, you should be good. That doesn't mean 100% you are good, so I would still be a little bit cautious. But for Davison and surrounding areas, you should be all good. And as you take a look behind me, you can see a little bit of some precipitation over here, a little bit over here, a little chaotic off the East Coast, and a little bit swarming around Michigan. But that is not the same precipitation we're going to see tomorrow and Thursday, but you might want to keep an eye out for it. Now, as we take a look at our weather cam, I guess we have no weather cams, sorry about that, but if we were to see the weather cams right now, you would see just a kind of a gloomy sky over the parking lot and maybe some puddles from the past weekend. Current temps right now are about 58 degrees, but it'll feel more like 60 degrees right now with winds going west-northwest at about 14 miles per hour and gusts reaching 16 miles per hour. Anyways, I'll toss things back to Cooper on the desk.
There are many uses for the wood we cut down from trees. A big use is paper. Odds are there's a piece of paper in front of you right now. Landon Dean joins us with our final story that we did in collaboration with PBS's Nova Science Studio, Paper Waste. Landon?
Paper waste is an ongoing issue that not many people think about. It gets used every day because it's simple and easy to write on, but it does contribute to our ongoing issues with climate change.
In 2018, more than 67 million tons of paper were produced, and 45 million tons was recycled in the U.S. To make paper, we take trees and stretch out the fibers, but there are downsides to creating paper. Nick Ainsitel is an associate professor in environmental and civil engineering at Michigan State University.
So paper is good in terms that it comes from tree, but making paper is actually pretty bad for the environment in terms of like the chemicals that are emitted during the production of paper.
When paper is produced, hazardous gases such as methane and CO2 are put into the air. The more paper that we make, the more trees that are cut down. When a tree is cut down, this leads to stored carbon being released into the atmosphere. Paper is also harmful after it's used. Paper waste ends up in landfills and breaks down. When this happens, the bleach that is used in the paper turns into methane and traps heat in the air and increases climate change. Nearly 17 million tons of paper is put into landfills, but recycling paper helps to reduce this number. Recycling 1 ton of paper would reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 1 metric ton or save enough energy to power the average American home for months.
So even there you have some waste during the production, but then at the end of life you can recycle it if you put it in the recycling bin and then make not necessarily more paper. Usually we put it back into boxes or like lower quality product.
Paper can be really hard to recycle. It is so delicate that it can't be put with other things, or else it won't be useful. The process of recycling it can help climate change, but it also negatively impacts the environment.
People want recycled paper, but the thing is, making recycled paper is not necessarily good for the environment because you need to add more chemicals. Paper, it comes from trees, so it's a fiber. So every time you recycle it, the fiber gets shorter and shorter. And also that's the same thing. You can start with really high quality white paper, but like when you recycle it, it's going to be either like lower quality white paper, and then kind of the final product are those boxes that are brown.
In Davison schools, we use 12.6 million sheets of paper, which cost the district $100,000.
And that's every single year. The schools in Davison, Michigan have given each student a Chromebook, but having access to computers didn't reduce the amount of paper waste. Chris Lesko is in charge of the tech department at Davidson High School. They handle most of the tech within the school.
We haven't seen too much of an effect on paper use, but that wasn't the point originally. We rolled out the one-to-one Chromebook program over COVID, and going forward to give us more flexibility for learning at home, off-site, should the need arise again. You would think it would have some effect on the paper usage as more things are delivered digitally, but that is more of a philosophical shift that's needed to make that happen.
Using Chromebooks at Davison High School was not a solution to reducing paper waste. Instead, it has increased a different type of waste at the school, e-waste.
Like a lot of the electronics product, they require a lot more energy and they have a larger environmental impact in making them. But then if you use, let's say, the same iPad for 5 years and you use it not only for writing but also for to replace like a computer or other products, then its environmental impact kind of decrease. So it really depends on how the product is used. But if you use your iPad a couple months, then you break it and you replace it, then what we call like the environmental footprint from making that and even on the everyday charging it and using it is much higher than, for example, paper.
Todd Palmer is the co-owner of Motor City Computers that takes old electronics and Chromebooks from schools like Davison and repurposes them.
As of right now, we sell most of the equipment overseas. We sell it Pakistan, South America, Asia, Europe, Africa.
Most of the e-waste Todd processes comes from the United States, but he has trouble reselling his reused electronics here, which causes him to have to ship them overseas.
Here, everyone wants the latest, greatest, and that's why there's always upgrading. That's why you see lines, to buy a new iPhone.
Paper usage has been going down and will continue to do so with more technology. There are a lot of moving parts when it comes to paper waste. However, there are steps we may take, such as recycling and reusing paper and using electronics, each of which both offers positive and negative trade-offs, but by being cautious and smart about paper waste, it can help mitigate our overall carbon output.
I am here with Landon Dean and Brooke Lane, who both worked on the story. Let's dive straight into some questions about paper waste. This first one is for Landon. So Landon, Chromebooks actually add to the waste that can create climate change. What was your reaction when you first found this out?
I thought it was a little bit bizarre, mainly because they could be used to replace paper, but yet they just didn't. Especially in our school, it didn't really change the amount of paper actually being used.
Overall, electronics can actually help with climate change. Brooke, what are some of the ways you want people to help with doing this?
Well, I've realized throughout doing this project that one of the people we interviewed said that the USA wants the newest and greatest electronics. Even though the kids' phones are perfectly fine, kids want the newest and greatest phone, so they don't they just buy the newest and greatest phone and throw away their one that's not even messed up or anything. They get the phone for maybe a year, and then a new phone comes out and they immediately get that one. So I feel like kids can spend more time with that one phone that they have instead of moving on to a new phone,
Electronics can help us. We just have to be responsible when we want a new one, right? Alrighty, and this one's a fun one for both of you. What was your favorite part about working on this story?
I really liked the fact that we could travel around the state and just kind of meet a bunch of new people and get a lot of really new experiences.
I knew things about the project already, but being able to deep dive into the project and research things that I didn't know about and finding out that electronics were a big cause of paper was really cool to find out.
You both did such a great job. Thank you for watching our newscast for the past school year. This is our last newscast this year. If you'd like to stay updated with Davison News, you can always find us on all of our socials at dtvnews.org. Have a great exam week and even better summer, Davison. See you next school year. Great job.
You too, folks.
Nice. That was actually a pretty good talk show.